How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back for the final deadline stream of the season. How's everybody doing? I'm super nervous for the games today, mainly because United's in a potential Champions League race, and there's some FPL assets that need some confirming on some team news. I'm gonna put the caveat out there. One of the main sources that is supposedly that was going to give the team news, their Twitter account has basically been removed. Whether that was because of something happening, I don't know. But I'm going to scour across the net, across Twitter, to see if we get anything. I'm going to make sure I keep a couple other things open as well. If we do get team news, I'll make sure to let you know as soon as I get it. If I don't get it, go under the assumption that there's going to be no team news, but if we do get it, it'll be a nice little early Christmas gift, as it were. So I'm going to pretend as if there's no team news at all, and I'm going to make my transfer as if there wasn't any. Also, thank you, Mono, Awad, J Bales, and Moose Heil, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm terrible with names, by the way. Thank you all for following. So let's check out the team. So I got my team up on the screen with the transfer screen ready to go. I just want to make one mention that if United were to somehow win today and we got Champions League, I'll be using this as a green screen. I forgot I have to use a different mic because I'm supposed to be standing up. So hopefully you can hear me. I probably sound a little bit different. It's probably a little bit better now. But yeah, once I'm going to have a second webcam to where I can stand up. I see let me know if you can or cannot hear me, Mono. It should be fun now. But yeah, because I have to use the headset mic for if I were to stand up or something like that. So it should be cool. But yeah, I'll have to adjust the volume. It's a bit loud, I know that, but if you could hear me on the headset mic, that's probably good. Nonetheless. Now my internet hasn't been the greatest today, so hopefully I don't lag too much. But let's get the old music up just a little bit. Got the exact same midfield. Yeah. I'm potentially looking at getting rid of Fernandez. Potentially, I have a little spreadsheet on my screen where it's basically all the permutations that I could possibly have for potential City players I can get or whatever. Kane or Aubameyang? I think Kane, personally. Aubameyang could definitely score for sure because it's Watford and they're going to have to go at him. But I think Kane's just been looking a little bit better in the Premier League, that is. But I think they're both good options. I would side with Kane, personally, just because I have him. Going to swap Foden on, I think, for Mahrez and Kdb, or Sterling and David Silva. Kdb and Foden out. I think Foden's definitely fine. KDB I'm not so sure about, but obviously hopefully we get early team news to confirm that. Like I mentioned previously, it's not a guarantee. I'm gonna pretend as if there's no early team news, and I'm gonna go off how I would play the game normally based on how I think that City will line up, because that's mainly what everyone wants. It's the City team news. Like United team news is gonna be like, the only real question is Luke Shaw. No one really cares about Everton. Everyone knows Kane's gonna start. Chelsea team news isn't really that big of a thing. It's not going to be too crazy on that front. It's just really City and Liverpool potentially as well. Some people are potentially looking at that. Aubameyang should start, yeah, because the FA Cup. Let me see. When is the FA Cup final? The FA Cup final is this Saturday of next week. So he's got a full week off. So I would expect Aubameyang to start. Will he potentially get hooked after 70 minutes or something like that? It's possible. I don't doubt that. But I still think he's going to want to go out there and score because it is Aubameyang and he's still going to want to do what he wants. Sterling, Mahrez, or David Silva, KDB captain. I personally like the people who score, so that would be Sterling and Mahrez. That's just me. That's who I would go for. So, like, if I'm going to take out Foden, if I can, I'll go to Mahrez. Just because I like Mahrez better. And I think he's just as likely to start. Is there a chance that KDB gets like a hat trick of assists or something nuts? Yeah, of course. Like he can always do that. KDB can take the penalty or something like that. Yeah, he is on for the golden boot still. I think Aubameyang. Let's see, golden boot EPL. So currently for the golden boot, Jamie Vardy's on 23, Danny Ings is on 21, Aubameyang's on 20, and then you have Salah and Sterling on 19, and those are the only real relevant players. Everyone else is on like 17 or less. So Sterling will be on pens. I think if they get a penalty late on and David Silva hasn't scored, I think they'll give it to him first. But if David Silva's got his goal and maybe taken off already and they get a pen later on, I think Sterling will probably get it if he hasn't scored, because Sterling wants to get 20 goals. But I think De Bruyne, you have to kind of assume that De Bruyne is kind of still on pens. It was just a whatever. If De Bruyne gets taken down for the penalty, I bet I'm pretty sure he'll give it to somebody though. Start Raul or Greenwood. That's a bit tricky, to be honest. I think you got to start Jimenez, probably. Just because I think that their style is favored versus Chelsea in the way that they play. But yeah. I think Jimenez is probably just better than Greenwood. What's my aim? 25k. I would like to get 10k if I get a really good week, but that's probably highly unlikely. But yeah, I don't want to go below 50k, basically. That would be a nice, good, like, solid first season for, like, playing it serious right off the start. That would be fantastic. Also, let me know in the chat if I'm, like, lagging or like, I sound robotic or anything like that, because the internet, it doesn't look like it's doing too well at the moment, but we will pursue on, and as long as you guys can hear me and see me for the most part, then it's fine. Aiming for 20k, current rank 27k. Yeah, I think you could potentially get 10k. Audio spot on. All right, fantastic. That's good. So it's just drop frames then. I guess it was it's just, I guess, random drop frames, so it's not losing any information, but which is a good thing. Yeah, I think if you're at 27k, you can get top 10k. You just need a ridiculously good week, and you need to basically have like a couple of players that people might not necessarily have. So maybe you have, maybe you have Kane or Aubameyang, and you captain them, and they get a brace or something. Maybe you play Richarlison as an example. A lot of people probably don't have him. Maybe you have a Bournemouth player, and the game ends up being like a 5-5 or something like that. It could be a bunch of different things. My headache is United double and Spurs double. I think Spurs double is fine. Attacking wise, that's probably a bit more sketchy. I like the likes of Aurier and Kane, or Aurier and Son together. But I think that maybe Son Kane double up might be a bit much. I don't know. The United double up's probably fine if you have Martial and Fernandes, and that's the only thing that you have, or like Martial Greenwood. I think that's okay, because Greenwood is a good enabler for like just more expensive players to come in, and he can just go on the bench if you need to. Pope, Aurier, Wan-Bissaka, Van Dijk, Silva, Mahrez, Fernandez, KDB. I assume Mo is Mohamed Salah, Ings, Greenwood. Who should I give the triple to? I think with that team, I think the safest bet is to put it on Salah. But I think it would be fun to put it on Silva or Mahrez. But that's just me. Say if you're trying to hold rank, then I would say Salah, just because. If you're trying to gain rank, then put it on somebody a bit different. Current team is Pope, Tarkowski, Digne, Doherty, TA, Holgate, Sterling, KDB, Foden, Fernandez, Martial, Greenwood, Raul, Ings. So you got a lot of players in there that you can choose from. If I'm benching one of your defenders, it's probably Doherty that I bench. Doherty and Holgate. You start your whole midfield, and then you probably play Jimenez and Ings, I think. That's just me. Yeah, Mahrez is a fun one, too. Ings may be a good money saver. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That is true. He is quite good there. Especially if you start. I mean, there's no way he doesn't start, right? There's no way he doesn't start. I can't see him not starting Mahrez. Because, I mean, if we look at... I'm going to just kind of take a peek at his last few outings in the Premier League. So he's only started in 34 and 35. That was the last time he started in the Premier League. He started in the FA Cup, from what I remember, and then he got yanked off at 60 minutes. Will Jesus start? I wouldn't be so sure. Although in my Pep Roulette video, I said that he would. Because when's the next time Man City have to play in Champions League? Yeah, Man City doesn't have to. They don't have to play until the 7th of August. So yeah, they'll probably start. They'll probably play everyone. They'll probably play pretty much everyone because Pep said they're gonna go for goals. So I mean, when Pep says he's gonna do something, he typically does it. But he might do it to a little bit more of an extreme. Like I don't expect the likes of. I think it's Doyle. I think his name is. You know, starting from the beginning and that sort of stuff. But they don't play until. I believe this is yeah their Champions League the second round tie versus Madrid is until the end of the first week of August on the 7th. So I expect them to go full strength, especially Jesus. Now, is that saying that Jesus won't get taken off early? It's possible. Jesus could easily get taken off early. I'm confused with my team. Can you help me, please? I definitely can. If you post it, we'll give it a little look over, and we'll see what our recommendations would be. 3 City mid or 2 mid plus Jesus. The thing is, though, if Jesus plays, I think Jesus, Sterling, Mahrez are the 3 best for just like goal threat, just from open play in general, which is where the majority of City's like attack and stuff is going to come from. So I think that's fine. I think the if Jesus starts, then obviously it's probably better. Like I said, hopefully we get early team news, but I'm not counting on it because, like I said, the main person that was supposed to give team news on Twitter's account's been which removed or blocked or whatever. What do you think I should do with my current team transfer-wise? The one posted above. Let's see. I think the only thing that I would say you could potentially do, you have 0.9 in the bank. If you have 2 free transfers, then it's probably pretty good too. Mono. I think it's probably fine. Jay, your team, I think that Fernandez, because you have Martial and Greenwood. If you, I think one Man United asset's probably fine for this week, to be honest. Because the way I see both games playing out is, United and Leicester will probably be quite cagey in the opening bit. Leicester will probably have the majority of the ball because they're at home, and they play a very possession-based game. And I think it's only 3 teams. I think it's like City, Liverpool, and like one other team that keep more possession versus them. So I think United's going to try to, because United only need a draw, right? So I don't think having 3 United assets is necessarily, like, I would even consider dropping Fernandez, which I'm going to potentially be doing with my transfers as well. Ederson, TA, Wan-Bissaka, Saiss, KDB, Son, Saka, Fernandez, Martial, Vardy, Ings, Jesus. I think if you definitely play Jesus, you definitely play Ings. I could say you could potentially get rid of Vardy for Kane. Musail. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm gonna call you Hale. I think Ings and Jesus, you definitely start. KDB definitely starts. Son, you definitely start. Saiss, Wan-Bissaka, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Ederson, you start. Unfortunately, you have 3 City assets because you have Ederson. So that's kind of an issue. I think Saka will probably play versus Watford, I think. Which would be ideal. But in terms of like transfers, you're kind of limited because you can't like switch around City players potentially. You can go for the likes of Antonio, is an option. Pulisic is still probably a fine option this week too. Like I said, Vardy to Kane is probably okay as well. Only one transfer, maybe Fernandez and Foden out for Mahrez and Antonio. Yeah, I like that. I like that move a lot. Personally. I think Antonio's team will probably play similar, like West Ham will probably play similar to how they played versus United, personally. That's mainly because I think that they don't have anything to play for, you know? They don't have anything to play for, really. Whereas Aston Villa kind of do. It is hella hot in here. Turn down the aircon so we can get it a bit colder. If I get Kane, should I captain him? I'm considering it, and I have Kane. I think it's definitely going to be a differential because not many people have Kane. Like if you look at he's 14.3% of it, so a lot more people are going to have him potentially. But I think that Kane is a very good captaincy option this week, mainly because Palace have just been chipping goals. Left, right, and center. I think that Kane could definitely be a good option for captaincy. My rival has Sterling, but the thing is, if you have Sterling, right? If you have Sterling and you captain Kane, I mean, that's still fine. But you know Kane is going to start. That's the thing. That's one nice thing about it, is that Kane will start 100%. Like, he's like, unless there's some injury in warm-up or something, which is, you know, few and far between, then then it's, you know, it's fine, I think. Because I think Kane's going to do well. I think Sterling, if he does well, will play. Jesus, I think they're going to go full strength. Like we mentioned previously, they don't have to play until the 7th of August. Like, how many days away is that in the Champions League? They already had 2 days off as well. Like, they didn't train Wednesday, Thursday. Like, there was pictures of Sterling in France, like, because Pep gave everyone 2 days off. So I expect him to go full strength. Will Jesus potentially be taken off at like 60 to 70 minutes with like Mahrez potentially? Possibly. Maybe bring on Foden, maybe bring on Gundogan. Like, I don't know. Could be interesting. Hope Jesus starts so I can do that. So I could do the Kane move. Yeah, I mean, that works too. Foden and Fernandes to Trezeguet and Mahrez. I don't like that one as much, personally. But who knows? Trezeguet is an interesting pick, so could work out. I like Mahrez though this week for sure. Can't afford Antonio. Yeah, that would be kind of a problem. I'm trying to think of all the other mids that are around that price. I mean, Willian's a differential this week for sure. Like, Chelsea do play Wolves, and I don't think stylistically he is has a very good matchup versus Wolves, because Wolves like to kind of pack things in and just kind of, you know, kind of just chill off. But yeah. Oh, can't afford Willian either. How much is Willian? I thought he was like 6 something. I could be wrong though. Oh no, Willian's 7.3. What am I talking about? I'm waffling. I am absolutely waffling. Look at this, like some mids here. Yeah, unfortunately the all the mids around that price point. It's like me. Like, I can't go to any like realistically like good like the City mids that I want, because I'm like just short with only having 1.8 million. 6.4 with Mahrez, yeah. I mean, McNeil from Burnley could be a good shout, potentially. Kareem and Raul. Yeah, I mean, that works. I still like Ings, though, this week. I think he could still definitely score. Also, I have a source. This is for the United team. Now, this isn't 100% confirmed, but this is a source that I trust, basically. They said the United team versus Leicester is they're running out basically the same team, and Williams is in at left back instead of Shaw. So it's De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Williams, Matic, Pogba, Fernandes, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford. I don't think we expected anything else from that. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I think that source is somewhat reputable. So yeah, 3-4-3. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you have people on your bench, right? It's not the end of the world. Oh, Sterling is if Sterling starts, Sterling is arguably the best triple captaincy option this game week. No doubt about it. The man's got, the last 3 times he started, he's got 3 double-digit holes. Like, look at these scores. Like, they're ridiculous. If he plays over 60 minutes, like, he does damage. Like, Liverpool, 16. Obviously, Southampton, he got hooked off at 58. That City were pretty unlucky that day, too. 10 points on a bench appearance. 21 points in the Brighton game. Only played one half against Bournemouth. 17 points versus Watford. Like, Sterling is by and far the best triple captaincy option this week if he starts. Even if he doesn't start, he's possibly still good as well. Yeah. Because he can come off the bench and do crazy stuff. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, I mean, if Norwich want to get a couple people sent off, then that could easily play into Sterling's hands. Just checking, just refreshing all my Twitter feeds just in case. Just in case. This is from another person on Twitter. This is for the Leicester team. So they need confirmation on this still, but apparently they're going with a 3-5-2 versus United. They're going to have James Justin, I think that's his name, at right center back. Albrighton playing right wing back. Chowdhury comes in the middle, and they're going to have Vardy and Iheanacho as a front two with no Barnes, apparently. That's a guy who follows Leicester quite closely. So if anyone wanted any Leicester players, that is something there potentially. Wan-Bissaka out for Williams to fund Kane move or wait for Trent news. I think that might not be a bad shout, you know. But again, I'm not sure. That's not 100% confirmed for the United team, though. It's not 100% confirmed. I think Iheanacho, when he plays with Vardy, is better. Like, so when they played versus Bournemouth, right? Because I had Vardy triple captain for that game. Vardy and Iheanacho were insane in the first half. And then he took off Iheanacho halfway through the game. He took him off at halftime. Any news on Burnley? I did have something on Burnley, actually. Where was it to? So this was as of... This was a couple of days ago. So this is assuming no injuries and stuff like that, because Burnley have a very limited team. So Sean Dyche confirmed that that Barnes, me, Lowton, Cork, and Charlie Taylor were all out for this game. Obviously, they're not going to rotate Pope because Golden Glove. So they're going to go with Pope, Bardsley, Long, Tarkowski, Peters, McNeil, Goodmanson, Brownhill, Westwood, Rodriguez, and Wood for that game versus Brighton. That was as of a couple of days ago. So whether that's changed or not, I don't know. Charlie Taylor is out, yes, according to Sean Dyche. Now, whether he miraculously heals in the next 2 days and then he's just psyching people out. But Sean Dyche is pretty straightforward, usually in his press conferences. He usually kind of says it how it is. But yeah, in his press conference, he confirmed that Barnes, Ben Mee, Lowton, Cork, and Taylor were out. So, which means that Peters gets to play in as one of the fullbacks, which is good for those that own him. Still not seeing anything as of yet. Also, for those interested in West Ham, there's going to be one change potentially in their team. This is just speculation, though. Probably it's going to be Cresswell is going to be out, and Masuaku is going to come in, potentially. Because Cresswell picked up a knock and was substituted in the United game. So he's probably going to be out there. Final take on triple captain Mahrez. I think it's... I mean, hey, if Pep doesn't start him again, that's just like criminal. Like, the guy's like really good when he does play. Like, his points per game is actually like up there with Kevin De Bruyne's, which is like insane in itself. Antonio Martial. I like Martial over Antonio just because he has something to play for. Whereas Antonio doesn't really have anything to prove. Mind you, Antonio's been on fire as well, so it's kind of a 50-50 there. You kind of have to think, is West Ham just going to roll over and just let Aston Villa you know, just play how they want to play? Then who knows? But I like Martial better. Other options are David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and Mohamed Salah for the triple captaincy. That's the thing. I think Mahrez will definitely play some minutes. Like, I think he would definitely play some minutes, regardless. But you obviously want to get the triple captaincy on somebody who's starting. I'm like, out of all the players, I think like David Silva, I'm like 99.9% because you can't never be 100%, obviously. For Mahrez, I'm probably like, it's probably the next highest, I would think. Like, obviously, Ederson's 100% because they don't have any other goalkeepers, really. But Mahrez, I would say, is like an 85% chance he starts. Like, at least. Yeah, the vice captain gets your triple captaincy points. Yes, that is how it works. However, if he comes on in the 93rd minute, you know, the 3rd minute of stoppage time, and he comes on for the field for 2 nanoseconds, that, you know, that's obviously the end of the line there. Is Salah playing? I'm not sure, but I like Salah as a pick this week. I like Mane even better because he's lower owned and he's cheaper. He went down last night. Is Foden going to play? I don't think so. Because if we look at the cycle, I have him in my team currently. We look at Foden. So since restart, started versus Burnley, didn't play versus Chelsea. Started versus Liverpool, benched versus Southampton. Started versus Newcastle, benched versus Brighton. Started versus Bournemouth, benched in the FA Cup. Started versus Watford. So if the trend continues, he'll be benched this game. And I think they're going to play David Silva and Mahrez anyway. So hope he starts. Yeah, I hope so too, because I want to bring him in as well. Like, my ideal like transfers, if I get no team news at all, and I go off just straight off gut instinct, like just straight gut instinct, my transfers would probably be this. That's probably what I would do. I would take Doherty out just because I don't want to get 2 clean sheets taken away from Wolves. I already have Patricio in there, and I think that I think I could also do. I think I could take out Patricio for Martinez and bring in Silva if I wanted to as well instead of Mahrez, but I like Mahrez better personally. But wondering who to captain between Kdb, Aubameyang, and Salo. I think out of those 3, the person that has the likelihood of getting the most returns is probably Salah, mainly because, and the only caveat I would say to this is because KDB's more of like the assist merchant. Yeah, he's probably going to end up with like high bonus and stuff like that, but he's not going to be one to get 2-3 goals in a game. That's going to be like Salah. That's going to be, I mean, yeah, that's going to be Salah. That's going to be Aubameyang. That's going to be Kane, Mahrez, you know, Silva, these types of players that are more of a goal threat. And I don't think KDB is going to be taking at least the first penalty if they were to get one today, mainly because if Silva's on the pitch, they'll probably give it to him or Sterling or somebody like that, you know. But if I had to choose between those 3, I would say Salah. I like Salah the most out of those 3. And that's strictly because Newcastle have 6 center backs on their books, and one of them is fit. So, and Klopp says they're going to go for it. So whatever that means, I don't know. Whether that means he's going to rest one of his fullbacks or something. Again, he could just run his whole team out there. It's probably fine. I'm pretty sure also that Salah and Mane, for religious reasons, don't drink, as far as I know. So if that's the case, then they have no reason to be like, people are saying, oh, Liverpool on the beach, oh, Liverpool drank too much, we saw them drinking, all that sort of stuff during the celebrations. Oh, they're going to be drunk going into the Newcastle game. They said that for the Chelsea game too. You know, all these sorts of things. Yeah, Liverpool have looked a bit out of it, but for the players that don't drink, potentially, they don't really have an excuse. Do you think Aubameyang is a risk of playing? No, Aubameyang's going to start both games. Aubameyang would definitely start both games, I think. Because just like Aubameyang's pride in general, he'll want to play and score. And they're not, because if they don't play Aubameyang, like let's say they don't play Aubameyang, they don't play Pepe, they don't play all these players, then people will say, oh, well, look, Arsenal gave Watford the ability to stay up, right? And Arsenal, their next game is like 6 days from now, so that's more than enough for us. It's one game a week. That's nothing. They're both Muslim. Yeah, I think they are. That's why I think they don't drink. Mind you, I've seen there's some, like, I don't know if there's some, like, it's different regions have different things or what. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think neither of them drink. Martinez, Long, Peters, Bardsley. I like that the goalkeeper in defense. Sterling, Silva, KDB, Salah, Martial, Kane, Ings. Looks fine to me. Definitely looks fine to me. In terms of captaincy, I put on Sterling. Will I be getting any team news on City? I hope so. I hope so. But the main, like I mentioned at the start of the stream, I mentioned that the main guy, one of the main guys on Twitter, his accounts doesn't exist at the moment. So whatever happened to it, I don't know. However, I'm gonna keep looking at Twitter to see if I see anything. Now this is from from the same Leicester guy, for those that are interested. Schmeichel in goal, James Justin, Morgan and Evans for a back three. Albright and Hamza, I guess that's Chowdhury, I think. Ndidi, Yuri, and Thomas, and then Vardy and Iheanacho. Is Masuaku a shout over Brandon Williams? I think Brandon, from the United sources that I've seen, I think Brandon Williams is going to start. And Aston Villa are going to have to go for it, so I wouldn't do it for a hit, but I think Brandon Williams is okay. Is it yellow card waiting to happen? Of course, but so is Masuaku, so I think you're kind of splitting hairs there. Now, this is coming from a source that has been somewhat right in the past and somewhat wrong in the past. From what I've seen, I've only picked up on this source today. This is what he said for the City team news. He says that Jesus, Mahrez, Sterling, David Silva, and KDB all start today. Now, there's a lot of people following him. So the main source that got taken down, he's come in and said, they're on the bench, so I'm going to take over for them. And he says that KDB, David Silva, Sterling, Mahrez, and Jesus all start. So take that as you will, personally. Taking out Wan-Bissaka and have a 4.1 to get a defender. Yeah, but if you're going from Wan-Bissaka to Brandon Williams, I think Wan-Bissaka has a higher chance of starting than Brandon Williams does. So I would just leave Wan-Bissaka in if that's the case. Unless you're doing it for another transfer to alleviate some money elsewhere and you're not going to play them regardless, then that's fine, I think. But yeah, so if you're still in chat, we have some the Leicester news. We have some United's team seems to be pretty much the same, apart from Brandon Williams playing over Luke Shaw, who I think is injured still. We just got, now this isn't, like I said, not 100% confirmed. This is just from a Twitter source. KDB, David Silva, Sterling, Mahrez, Jesus all start apparently. To get Kane, you need to save some money. Okay, well that's fine. If you're not playing if you're not playing Wan-Bissaka, perfectly fine, I think. Perfectly fine to get Kane. I got in Kane for a hit last week and captained him, and he got me 26 points with the captaincy, so was pretty good. Was pretty good. Just checking Twitter just again here. I'm actually going to go in on Fantasy Football Scout's site here to see if there's anything that we can see. Doesn't look like it personally. Salah to Mane and Bardsley to Aurier or leave it. Ooh. I think you leave that, to be honest. That's the thing. Salah has been getting a lot of chances. He's just been missing them. So I think it's fine, to be honest. I think Bardsley's probably more likely to have a clean sheet because, like, Sean Dyche and Burnley are adamant to get that that Golden Glove for Nick Pope, so they will literally stick the entire bus in front of the goal to make sure that they get that Golden Glove for him. Is Salah on penalties? He will be if James Milner does not play. If James Milner does not play, he will definitely be on penalties for sure. Martinez, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Peters, Stevens, or Bardsley. I would play Bardsley personally. If James Milner doesn't play, Whisper. If James Milner doesn't, because James Milner typically takes penalties no matter who's on the pitch. If Salah's on the pitch, then he will take them next in line, basically. So, and James Milner was injured the last game. I think he may have came on as a sub, but I don't see him starting potentially. Okay, TA, Peters. I would play Bardsley over Stevens personally. Salah, Mahrez, Sterling, Silva, Marshall, Kane, Greenwood, bench. Yep, I mean, so that team seems perfectly fine to me. And then I would probably captain Sterling or Kane for safety. If you want to go for a bit of a punt, I would say Salah because he's going to be less owned, and then Mahrez is definitely going to be a punt. Any news on Liverpool? I don't have anything yet on Liverpool. Mind you, Klopp came out and said that they want to make sure that the team is fresh, and they're going to go for it. So that probably means they're going to have a more or less full-strength squad. And Salah is still technically in the race for Golden Boot because he has 19 goals, I think. Yeah, the only people relevant for the Golden Boot is Sterling and Salah, who are on 19, Aubameyang, who's on 20, and Ings is on 21, and Vardy's on 23. Between KDB and Aubameyang mostly, but I'm going to take the decision and captain Salah. Okay, yeah, I mean, hey, go for it. Mahrez or David Silva? I like... Yeah, David Silva is kind of like a nostalgia thing. It's kind of like, oh, it's his last game. They're probably going to give him the... Like, if they get a penalty, like, you can guarantee, like, David Silva's taking that, like, 100%. The first free kick anywhere near the area, he's definitely taking it. You know? Salah going for late Golden Boot. Yeah, I mean, Salah could easily score 4 goals in the game versus Newcastle. I mean, they have one fit center back, right? So... It makes sense. It makes sense to me. Yeah, also let me know in the chat if like I look laggy again still. I'm still monitoring the internet situation. It doesn't seem to have improved, but as long as the sound and my visual and like everything seems fine, then it should be good. In for Foden and Doherty. I like that. I like that move. I like that move a lot. Martial or Bruno? The thing is, they said, so this was speculation that Rashford and Bruno are the two penalty takers, and they basically, every other penalty is taken by the other person. So if Bruno takes one, then Rashford will take the next one, so on and so forth. But I can almost guarantee that if United get a penalty today, Bruno's taking it. I would bet money on that, to be honest, because Bruno's so good at penalties. However, Rashford did take one when United played versus PSG, so you know, could be a bit crazy there as well. But if I had to choose between the two, Martial probably. Jerry Kingbog, will Salah be playing? The only news that I have thus far for Liverpool is that Klopp said they're going to go for it. He wants some fresh legs out there, so whether that means some midfield changes, I don't know. But I think that I think he's definitely going to put Salah out there, mainly because he is like, if there's any sort of rotation, potentially Mane, but that would just piss off Mane, to be honest. And that's mainly because Salah is closer to the golden boot. Is Salah going to score 4 goals in this game? Possibly. But it's highly unlikely, I think. But he's still going to go for it. I think Salah will play. I can't see why not. They don't have any games for the rest of the season, so why not just play him? Whether he gets substituted off early, that's a completely different story. And then there's obviously unknown factors. Yeah, so this is Klopp's exact words. So he says, I tried to make sure we have fresh legs on the field and that we really can go for it because we love football, because we want to win the football games. Honestly, I don't know exactly what I can expect, but I'm excited about it. So there's probably some youngsters in the team, probably. But I expect the usual attackers to play. Whether that means like Trent or somebody like that gets rotated, that's a different story. Also, for those interested in the Everton-Bournemouth game, Nathan Ake did travel with Bournemouth, so that's a good boost for them if he does play. But I think it's going to be... He said he would make a late call on the defender. Any news on Aubameyang? I do not have any news on Aubameyang, unfortunately, Sanders. But Aubameyang's kind of like Kane, right? Like, he if he's fit, he starts. Like, barring any, you know, complete debacle, like where somebody gets injured in warm-up or something, I expect Aubameyang to start, almost certainly. Oh, this is the update for West Ham potentially. So it's actually not Masuaku who's gonna play. Apparently, it's going to be Fredericks at right back and Johnson at left back. This is something that FF Scout Neil retweeted from another West Ham source. So, hopefully we get some type of legitimate team news. There's 9 minutes left. Early this morning, but should I take Salah out for Sterling? Sorry, got the stream late. Got the time wrong. I didn't realize it was a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I'm gonna put the VOD up as well, so if you wanted to watch it later, you can. Not that there's any point because obviously the season's over, but it's still fun. Salah out for Sterling. If you're taking him out for a hit, I think definitely no. Thank you for following as well, Sanders. Much appreciated. If you're taking him out for a hit, I think no. But If it's a free transfer, there's a possibility. If you're going to captain Sterling, then I would say, yeah, go for it. But then again, remember, your rivals, because if I remember this correctly, your rival can still potentially get in Sterling, and he might be making that move too. So you kind of have to think about that, you know, in terms of, you know, what it's, you know, for what it is, right? I personally wouldn't do it. I would kind of stick. If you have 3 city players, then just go with them and just hope they kind of pass it around Sterling. But that's just me. Yeah, for some reason getting a lot of drop frames, but whether that actually affects the stream, I don't know. I'll have to kind of look into that. Maybe it's just the internet's just rubbish, or maybe just everyone's on Twitch right now. Okay, so this is the Liverpool team news apparently. Now, again, not sure how legit this is, but apparently somebody posted, this was retweeted by Andy, who's Let's Talk FPL. The lineup is apparently Alisson, Williams, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Milner captained, Wijnaldum, Keita, Minamino, Origi, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. So no Salah, no Mane, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. That is apparently what the lineup is. Yeah, that's apparently what the team is according to I mean, Andy, if Andy retweets it, then it's probably something legit. So a lot of people are going to be potentially changing out their Liverpool players. That could be very interesting. Now, whether this is true or not, apparently it is legit. So I would definitely. I mean, I don't have any Liverpool players, and I was kind of not getting them in anyway. But no Trent, no Salah, no Mane in the starting lineup, and it's just basically Williams, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Milner, Wijnaldum, Keita, Minamino, Origi, and Oxlade-Chamberlain with Alisson in net. So that is quite interesting. Also, it seems that people are coming on saying that Luke Shaw is definitely not there for the United game, so probably Brandon Williams will start almost certainly, if I had to guess. We got just 5 minutes here, so if we think that the team news is legit for City, I think that Mahrez is a good option. As we mentioned before, this is the apparent team news for City is that Mahrez, De Bruyne, Sterling, David Silva, Jesus all start. So, and then Liverpool is no dice on Salah, Mane, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So what I'm going to do is I think that I am going to I'm going to make my transfers, I think. I think this makes the most sense because apparently Caballero starts over Kepa for Chelsea, apparently. And Pulisic is in for Willian, which is interesting as well. Let me see if there's anything on City. Just one last time. Nothing here. Let me check if there's anything for United. Oh, not that I can see. One last quick little gander. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be it for team news for the most part until the official lineups are actually shown. So as far as we know, Pulisic is in for Willian. Caballero starts apparently over Kepa. Leicester going with a back three with James Justin, and Albrighton's going to be in a wing-back role. There's no Salah, no Trent, no Mane. All the main City assets start, so Silva, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus. And these are all going off sources that are somewhat reputable. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Mahrez in. Make the transfers here. Confirm. Bring in Mahrez for... you want to bring him in for Greenwood or Calvert-Lewin? I just have a funny feeling that Calvert-Lewin's going to score, and I think it's better for him. So I think I'm just gonna go with that. Make Kane the vice captain. Yeah, I think Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold. This is from a source on Twitter that's apparently reputable, and a lot of people are saying that Salah, Mane, and Trent are not starting at all. It's just Robertson, and it's a very weak team. It's Origi, Ox. Let me see if I can find the exact tweet again. Alisson, Williams, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Milner, Wijnaldum, Keita, Minamino, Origi, and Ox apparently is the players that are rumored to be starting. And this is coming from some pretty reputable sources and is being retweeted by a bunch of the Fantasy Football Scout people. Jerry King Bob, thank you for following. Much appreciated. Will I be commenting on the results today? I won't until when I do my end of season review, which will probably be out early next week sometime. 1 minute left. 1 minute left. Actually, 8 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. 10 a.m. EST. So the site should be broken soon. Deadline is up. There we go. The deadline is up. Hopefully we can see some teams here. Here we go. Let's check the actual teams. So that Liverpool team was correct. It was correct. Salah and Mane and Trent Alexander-Arnold are all on the bench. Where is Manchester City? Manchester City's team is Ederson, Walker, Garcia, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva, Foden, Sterling, and Jesus. So it was actually incorrect. Mahrez is on the bench. It was actually incorrect. Foden starts versus Norwich. So that team news was actually slightly incorrect. So bringing in Mahrez was kind of bad for me. However, we just hope that he comes on the field and gets something nice. So again, like I said, these team news you have to take with a grain of salt. I should have probably gone with David Silva in hindsight, but at the end of the day, team news or no team news, confirmed or not confirmed, again, it was all kind of a bit of a Yeah, it's a crazy 4 minutes. If you make your transfers and it doesn't work out, I mean, we could have had Pep saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna start Mahrez," and then he could not start Mahrez or something like that. You know, it is what it is. I like Mahrez this game week. Even if he does come off the bench, he could still potentially get something. For those that brought in David Silva, he obviously is playing. Salah out for Son, upgrading Barnsley to Digne. Yeah, I mean, that's a good pick too. But yeah, like I said, Twitter sources are not necessarily always correct. And the one source that we kind of wanted the most was the Man City one. We didn't get any legit sources. Like I said, the one that we had was sometimes right, sometimes wrong, as we mentioned. In this case, he was mostly right and wrong. The United team news was correct. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Williams, Matic, Pogba, Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford, and Martial. Unfortunately, Mahrez being benched 3 games in a row kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. It's going to look bad because it's for a -4. And potentially, if City, get ahead like real early, then it could be a disaster. But we have Sterling captain, so that's fine, and he's starting. So that's really all that matters. If Mahrez doesn't play at all, then we have Greenwood coming off the bench. So not the end of the world. But yeah, unfortunately, our main reputable source who was going to give us City team news, his account seems to be removed for whatever reason. Not sure why, but yeah, that's going to be it. So, and then I'm just going to confirm some other teams here. So, I'm just going to make sure that Spurs. Yeah, Kane, Son, Lucas, Lo Celso, Sissoko, Winks, Davies, Dyer, Alderweireld, Ore, and Lloris for Spurs. Let's go to Arsenal. Yeah, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, Ceballos, Willock, Xhaka, Tierney, Holding, David Luiz, Maitland, Niles, Martinez. So back 4 for them. Who else are we missing? I'm just gonna go get Burnley just because it's I'm pretty sure it's the same team as what it was. But it's Pope, Bardsley, Long, Tarkowski, Peters, Goodmanson, Brownhill, Westwood, McNeil, Wood, and Rodriguez. So that seems fine there. Trying to think if there's anyone else potentially. We mentioned the Liverpool team, but I'll just do it just again for those that didn't hear it. Allison, Williams, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Milner, Wijnaldum, Keita, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Minamino, and Origi. Fabinho, Firmino, Mane, Salah, and Alexander-Arnold are all on the bench. And then the Man United team news, it's I'll just kind of repeat that one again, and we'll do the City one last. De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Williams, Matic, Pogba, Greenwood, Fernandes, Martial, and Rashford. And then the Man City team, which we were hoping the early team news was correct, it ended up being slightly wrong. Ederson, Walker, Garcia, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, David Silva, Foden, Jesus, Sterling. Don't know if you made the Salah transfer out for Son in time. I think I captained Sterling over Mahrez, although not sure if I saved in time. Well, this is where you just hope. That's kind of how it works. You hit and hope. I remember I captained Sterling. So, but again, at the end of the day, it's FPL. We could have said all of these teams were correct, and they could have been completely wrong, and we could have seen Mane and Salah starting, and then it would have been an absolute nightmare for some people. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I still like Mahrez in this game, especially coming on. If he gets 30 minutes versus a tired Norwich, I can see him returning, so it's not the end of the world. Norwich have been especially if Norwich score or concede early, I think it could be quite bad for them. But yeah, absolutely insane. In terms of on the bench, just looking at United's team, there's no Shaw on the bench either, so he's still potentially injured. So, but yeah, I think that's definitely gonna do it. Let me lean down a bit in my chair here. That's gonna do it for this game week. Make sure to follow us on all the socials. We're gonna be doing some end of season stuff. We're gonna be doing some predictions for price rises, position changes, all that sort of stuff at the end of the season. Kind of have an overview. We'll be checking out how I did in Pep Roulette, my predictions for this game week, all that sort of stuff. And we'll be reacting to how the game week kind of played out in one final potential either stream or big video, one of the two. I'd like to do a stream. It'd be quite nice. Potentially on Monday or Tuesday, something like that. So yeah, make sure to follow us on all the platforms. It's PilotFlame226. I'm just going to shout out the socials just one more time to make it easier for y'all to check them out. Also, let me know, if the stream was laggy or for whatever reason. If it was, I do apologize. It sounded like the sound was fine. Whether the video was for my camera, I'm not too sure, because this is the most drop frames I've seen in ever. So whether it's the internet or whether it's Twitch or something, I don't know. Or if it's the Twitch server, we will have to see. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and until the next, or hopefully, I'm just gonna do one more mention, and we'll see if United do win, you'll definitely be seeing me use this next game week. You'll definitely be seeing me doing this, and I'll be celebrating in front of Old Trafford, for sure. So, yeah. And we have a bunch of other ones of those for different things, for games and stuff like that. Made the -4 for Foden out Mahrez. I did too. Jay, I did too. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, the source was incorrect. I did mention that it might not be, he's been a bit 50-50. But at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe Pep put in the lineup with Mahrez on the team sheet, and then he changed it at the last second by crossing him out and putting Foden there. But it was very unlikely that Mahrez would be benched so many games in a row. Maybe there's something we're not seeing. Yeah. Or maybe they have a lot of days rest, which makes no sense to me. But it is what it is. We just have to hope that he comes on and gets points off the bench, which could definitely happen. You can see people getting hooked at 56 minutes or something like that, and then he comes in. Yeah, good luck to everyone. Make sure to follow me on the socials as mentioned before, and until the next one, take care.